Hey guys, Joshua here from This Is Podcast, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, and nobody cares. And today, we have a new type of This Is Swordplay for you. So let's get ready. This is Swordplay. Hey guys, hope you're having a beautiful day, and today we're doing something a little bit new. Our swordplay videos have always either been reviews or tutorials. And, you know, we were talking, I was like, you know what, there's a subject that is bothering me, something I would like to discuss, and so we're going to do kind of a notes series or a discussion series about swords. And today, we're talking about some of the myths and some of the I think, the pop culture ideals about samurai weapons and ninja weapons, focusing primarily on the katana and the ninja stars, or Shuriken. And before we get into this, guys, if there's a subject you want to see us talk about that involves a swordplay, or any martial arts or any weaponry, comment below, let us know. We want to discuss those things. It'll give us something to discuss and more to add to the This Is Swordplay playlist. So let us know what you guys want to see us discuss, or something that you have questions about, or you would like to see us discuss. So again, on that note, we are talking about the unfortunate heaping pile of bullshit that sits on top of the katana and Shuriken throwing stars. Now, I know that was kind of a harsh statement, and people are going to freak out, like, oh my god, katanas are excellent. They're amazing swords, they're well built, and Shurikens are awesome. They're a really cool, really iconic weapon. I don't have problems with these weapons. I love both these weapons, but I think it's somewhat disrespectful to those weapons.
With the amount they overplay them.
Yes, to overplay them and to not see them for what they are, what they're worth.
What they're
see
for.
See what they're for, you know, have a realistic idea. Having a realistic idea of what they're about is more respectful to the weapon than the myths surrounding them. So let's talk about the katana for a little bit. And I have one right here, and we've done a review on this katana. It is my Hanbon Swords katana, and you can go check out on our playlist. We have the review for it, and it's a pretty badass katana. I really enjoy using it. So now I don't do kendo, but I have dabbled in pretty extensively. Haidon Kumdo, which is Korean katana. So here's some things that I think are really, really funny, and this is one that if you watch YouTube videos on swords or on katanas, this is a comment that I've run into on a few occasions, and it is, the katana is so awesome, or the katana is so great that the blade the blade can cut through a tank barrel, and the Japanese did it regularly during World War II. And I don't even have words for how much that doesn't even make sense. I mean, that's...
Well, tank barrels, I don't know much about tanks, but I can say that the metal on a tank barrel is probably pretty thick.
Pretty thick, yeah.
I don't see anything
slashing through, short of a lightsaber.
Anything short of a lightsaber slashing through it.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not just a katana. It's not like I'm saying, oh, a katana's a piece of shit, I couldn't slice through a tank barrel. I'm saying no sword could cut through a tank barrel.
This is a ninjato, right?
It's a chopper. It's a ninjato design. It's kind of fantasy,
Yeah, something like this. Any of the swords behind us, none of them are going to chop through a tank barrel.
Even something like a Zweihander or a claymore, something that really is more of a polearm than a sword.
A large sword.
A great sword isn't going to punch through.
It might put a scrape in it, but
katana's going to.
They chip the paint.
Yeah. So the other thing is, you know, they talk about there's a myth that, you know, the best swords you could put it in a stream, the best katana you could put in a stream and hold it down, and if a lily or a water pad, a lily pad, would float by and touch it, it would slice through. And again, no, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, you know,
I mean, you'd have to have excessive amounts of force in said stream. I mean, there's stories you can hear, real stories you've heard about, you know, pieces of paper cutting through things in a tornado.
Absolutely, yeah.
But a sword cutting. Now, lily pads, a lot of people also. That's another misconception. Lily pads aren't these little thin things. They're a little thicker. It's a nice piece of leaf, kind of. And you'd have to have excessive force behind it. You probably would not be able to stand in the river yourself to cut said lily pad at the strength it would have to be to even give you the force that it might happen. So,
well, and here's my thing, right? And this is the thing that I always point back to when I hear this argument, because I've seen this argument about the tank barrel a multitude of times. My thing is, if it was that sharp, if it was so sharp, it could shear through a.
It would also shatter, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know about that. What I do know is that in a fight, when two katana made contact, they would cut each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was so sharp it could slice through a tank barrel, then you would also be saying that it's so sharp it would be able to slice through itself. You know, it'd slice through another katana. And when two katana met, when you meet edge on edge, if you block that way, and some parries are edge on edge, some are side on edge, some are back edge on edge, depends on the parry. But if you parry edge on edge, the two katana would slice through each other if they were that sharp. So that you know, the physics of it, the science behind it, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that, you know, Japan is a culture steeped in mythology, and it's part of what makes their culture so cool. And so, you know, like the lily pad thing is kind of from their mythologies. And
so tanks.
So the tanks. Tanks are a mythology, you know. Before there was a world, there were tanks.
Tanks and dragons.
But, you know, the lily pad thing came from, you know, Japanese lore, and kind of came over into pop culture, and that's something that, you know, you hear a lot of people who really hold this sword up, the fanboys, the katana fanboys that really hold this sword up.
The people that have 21 katanas at home.
Yeah, they have multiple katanas. You know, here's the other thing about the katana is, you know, people say it is the perfect design. It isn't.
No design is a perfect design.
No design is a perfect design. It is the perfect design for. It is the perfect design for their culture and what they were doing at that time period.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, katana could stack itself up against most swords. But I would say something like, say, a rapier outclasses a katana in length. It's longer than a katana, and if a swordsman can keep somebody with a katana at point, if he can keep him at point, he has the advantage. He has the sword that is, at that point, a better sword. You know, better in context.
Yeah.
The rapier isn't a better sword than katana, but in context it is. And so, you know, when people hold up the katana like, oh, it's the perfect design. No, it isn't. It's the perfect design for its culture and for its time period and for the needs of the people that used it.
Yeah.
You know, when we get to, you know, we had weaker, you know, the Japanese had weaker iron armor. They even had an armor that was made of stacked and layered paper. Many more chinks in the armor. You know, they you know, a lot of it's layered. Unlike straight plate mail, the katana's not going to handle straight plate mail, but it can handle that. So, you know, that's why we get things like, you know, when you get into the plate armor, we see more swords that are more narrowly tapered and straight for punching through armor. It's just it is the perfect weapon for its time and place and for the people that need to use it.
Yep.
So, that's my thoughts on the katana.
Also in front of us, you have some little shuriken here, and you said you wanted to talk about those. So where do you want to start with that? I know what I want to say about it. I don't know much about martial arts, but or sword.
Well, go ahead and say what you want to say about shuriken.
Every single person should know that these are so overplayed in the media. you see them. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a shuriken in a movie or something like that? You see them throwing it, hitting them in the neck, and they die.
Yeah, or hitting the temple.
Yeah, and they throw ninja stars from 50 feet away and kill people
Right.
with them. That's simply not what they're for.
Well, I mean, my God, even in video game, I know, like there's that new video game, Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Overwatch or is it Overwatch?
I don't. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And then they have a ninja, and his main shooting weapon, like it's a shooter, but he doesn't have a gun. He throws shuriken with every trigger pull.
Yeah, that's.
And even in video games,
Okay.
I mean, look at like a Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Your throwing knives are instant kill weapons.
Yeah, you.
Now I know that so far we haven't had a ninja assassin.
Mm-hmm.
But a throwing knife is on par. These are essentially, a shuriken is essentially a 4-pointed throwing knife.
Yeah.
It is a throwing knife.
Yeah.
And that's the first misconception that this is a weapon unto itself. It isn't. This is just a 4-point throwing knife.
Yeah, and well, something that you talked about the one day is that really these aren't even for the offensive; they're more of a defensive weapon.
Right. These are a distraction weapon, and this is the thing. When you see movies like this, and there's 150,000 movies out there where somebody kills somebody with a ninja star, and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
For starters, these don't penetrate nearly deep enough to kill anybody. I mean, you would have to have the perfect temple shot or the perfect throat shot to dispatch somebody. Otherwise, I mean, even if this hit me in the eye, I don't think this would be deep enough to penetrate and kill.
Well, something like this would definitely not be.
Yeah, so these aren't deep enough to really kill anybody, and that's okay because that's not what they're for. They're a distraction weapon. So what I would do is I'd have a stack of these. I'd maybe have like 3 to 7 of them, depending on the size. Like 3 of these or 7 of these. And the idea is very simply, I can fling them in a shotgun pattern. I fling them out towards a target, right?
Just hurt them, run,
right,
distract.
It's exactly. It gives me because of the way we're built as human beings. If I throw something at you, you flinch away.
Mm-hmm. Especially something with little points on it.
Or exactly, you know what I'm throwing at you, right? If I hit you and I scratch you, okay, that's even better. But truthfully, what I really want you to do is flinch away. And it gives me that fraction of a second to gain some distance if I'm running away from you, if I'm fleeing you. If I'm a ninja and you're a full armor samurai, I'm not going to be able to...
Ninjas don't do smoke bombs. They just throw shit at you.
Well, they do the smoke bomb too. It was just another variation of the smoke bomb.
Yeah,
it was another distraction. So I could fling my ninja stars and get that fraction of a second to flee. Or I could fling my ninja stars and get that fraction of a second to close distance on you and kill you with my sword. In the time that you flinch away and you look back, I'm in your face with a sword, and hopefully I'm going to kill you.
Yep.
Which is important because the ninjata, which is the the kind of ninja standard sword, is shorter and weaker than a katana. It's not as well built as a katana. They were built of a lesser steel, in some cases even iron. And so they just simply were not going to hold up against in a fight against a katana.
Yep.
So the ability to close distance and kill somebody is an advantage I'm going to need to take. And so you're right. Yeah, I mean you see it in every movie. You're right. You're absolutely right. You see it in every movie, and it's like that's not how it works. In fact, I just saw a National Geographic special on Netflix. Or a BBC special, and they're talking about the ninja, and they said, for the ninja, when the ninja's on the run, he has the shuriken, and it shows him grab his shuriken and hold it in an overarm. I can't get a hold of one. There it is. He holds it in an overarm throw, and he throws it like this, right? And it hits the guy in the eye, and the guy goes, "Oh!" It falls over. It's kind of like they're showing like a dramatic dramatization of it. And it's like, that. He's never going to throw one. He's never going to throw one overhand. I'm going to throw it sideways and get that shotgun pattern of stars. I really want those to spread all over the place. And so even somebody as, even groups like National Geographic or the BBC, who are reputable documentary sources, it was a reputable documentary and they had a lot of good information, but even they get the myths.
They buy into
the myths, and they buy into that pop culture sense.
Yep.
So, that's just some thoughts on. I love these weapons. But I just think that people really disrespect them by not having the right idea about what they are and what they entail.
Yep.
So, just some thoughts on that. Just some notes on the ninja weapons and notes on samurai weapons. So. that's it.
Yeah.
You know, comment below if you want to see more of these videos. If this interests you, let us know. If you hate them, let us know. We won't do them anymore.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
So you want to sign us out?
Until next time, I'm Eli.
I'm Joshua,
and this is Swordplay.
Hey guys, whoa! Did you like what you see here? Check us out on This Is Podcast. And while you're there, go ahead and like and subscribe. There are little buttons right below. And don't forget to leave a comment. We want to talk about anything you want to talk about. If you have questions about today's video or any videos, just leave us a comment below, and we'll be happy to speak with you. Also, check out our Facebook. This Is Podcast. Thanks, guys.